What's going on, everybody? In today's video, we are talking about some massive returns that WWE is planning, some serious negotiations underway. Also, in addition to that, we're going to talk about TNA blocking AEW, putting in some restrictions for booking talent, and that also comes with a huge AEW announcement, and it's all coming up right here on the Ango Show. And as always, if you guys want more videos like this, don't forget to click that subscribe button and ring that bell. We are in the hunt for 100,000 subscribers. Anything related to wrestling, you don't want to miss it on this channel. Now, I want to kick things off with an AEW huge announcement because, as you guys know, we have been following along the story of AEW going global. Just like WWE has gone global in the last several years, AEW also has their own global expansion plans. And if you are a viewer of this channel, then you know I have spoken very highly about global expansion and why it's so important. Now, in recent months, in the last year or so, we have seen AEW go to Australia, and some people thought maybe AEW missed the mark, which, of course, when you're playing a stadium show and then you have to change it to a regular arena, that is definitely going to cause a little bit of a response from the fan base. But we have found out that AEW has secured a long-term deal with the country of Australia and their sports authority. And in fact, according to a new report, AEW actually signed a 5-year deal to bring its events to the Australian country. So the agreement is with a touring and promotions company called TEG Sport. And through 2029, we are going to see AEW bring shows every year to the country. Now, we don't know the specifics of the deal, but we do know that AEW and WWE are charging site fees from different companies and countries to bring their events to specific venues. And WWE kind of laid this out. We're now starting to, we're starting to see it happen in the UFC as well. And now AEW is doing the same thing. So the reason why that's good is instead of WWE and AEW going to a venue and paying to be there, the countries and the governments and the local principalities are essentially paying them a huge sum of money to bring their events there, which I think is a very, very smart idea. It's very big when it comes to global expansion. And when you look at Australia, WWE has found a lot of success there, and I would assume that AEW should find some success there as well. Now, the real question that I have is from now until 2029, how is AEW going to go to Australia? Because we know in 2026, they're going to have a house show, and then they're going to do Dynamite and Collision there. But are we expecting another, potential pay-per-view? I think these are all legitimate questions. And I think if AEW were smart by the end of this deal, I would be expecting a major stadium show of some kind. Whether it's Grand Slam Australia, whatever it may be, I don't think it really matters. But as long as they do something big, that would be something that truly satisfies me. Now, that's going to bring us to our next topic, ladies and gentlemen. TNA blocking AEW and restricting AEW. What exactly does that mean? This is obviously a very big deal because we know TNA is with a partnership in WWE and they have something going on there. But of course, with TNA and AEW, we haven't really heard too much, right? Now, the big catalyst for this story is Scott D'Amore and Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling. Remember, Scott D'Amore was the former president of TNA Impact. He's the reason why TNA even came back, right, at Hard to Kill. And then from there, what was really interesting is when he got fired from TNA, he launched Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling, which in a way, for a lot of fans, it feels like another version of TNA. The difference is he actually, books AEW talent. Now, Dave Meltzer has spoken about this publicly, and basically the major consensus is that TNA is not allowing their talent to work at Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling due to the fact that AEW talent are being booked there. Dave Meltzer says very specifically as well that TNA is looking at AEW as the enemy, which, it's interesting. TNA and AEW did work together at some point, but now that WWE has their partnership with TNA, it is very clear what we are seeing here. WWE is using TNA to help stop any sort of momentum for AEW and their growth. And the reason why that's such a big deal is because we have to accept the fact that AEW as a company is likely not going anywhere. Even if ratings continue to tank, even if maybe it's not as profitable, I don't think those things genuinely matter in the grand scheme of things. Tony Khan is a multi-billionaire. Him and his family will do anything to keep the product going. And there's just so much news right now, truth be told, with AEW it could get roughy, like rough and patchy. Like it could get scary in a certain sense. And the reason why I say that too is because Paramount is looking to buy Warner Brothers Discovery. Paramount just locked down a new deal with TKO for UFC TV rights. So if you're AEW, you don't really fear TNA, right? Because TNA is a smaller company, but WWE is using all of these different outside factors to help limit any sort of momentum for AEW. And that's what's scary. If Paramount buys Warner Bros. Discovery, what does that mean for AEW and their TV deal? Would Paramount cancel it? Because that's a huge sum of money that Tony Khan is expecting. There is a chance that he may not get that. And then if TNA lands a TV deal with Paramount, which is the rumor, then obviously that means AEW would be a conflict of interest to have AEW on its networks as well as TNA. So at this point, it is going to get very, very spicy, and it's definitely something to pay attention to moving forward. And that brings us to our final topic. Ladies and gentlemen, WWE is set to announce the first ever international WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia 2027. We covered that the other day. However, today we have found out that Saudi Arabia officials and WWE are negotiating to have a return match for Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock. Now, as you guys know, The Rock, he kind of came back, and then this year at WrestleMania, he no-showed, he wasn't there, he wasn't available, whatever it may be. We have been under this belief the entire time that The Rock may not be wrestling anymore. We've also been under the belief that Stone Cold Steve Austin may not be wrestling anytime soon as well. But with WWE set to announce the WrestleMania Saudi Arabia announcement, they are now planning to go all hands on deck for this event. And with that being said, you have to wonder, how much money will it take to get CM Punk versus Stone Cold to happen? This is the ultimate dream match. This is the match that WWE officials have wanted for a very long time. This is a match that, WWE fans have wanted for a very long time. This is a match that genuinely makes sense. And it seemed like for a long time that would not be possible because of Stone Cold retiring and CM Punk being gone from the WWE for 10 years. But now that all the cards are aligned, it sounds like money could be the thing to make happen. And obviously, with WrestleMania being in Saudi Arabia, you have to expect that this card will be for the casual fan base. If you're a hardcore fan base, don't get too excited about some of your favorites being on this card, because this is Riyadh season. This is WWE and Saudi Arabia coming together, trying to create the biggest spectacle. And you should expect Undertaker. You should expect Stone Cold. You should expect The Rock. But I think right now, even though it is 2 years too soon, I think Stone Cold CM Punk definitely happens. And I think The Rock and Roman Reigns definitely happens. Both of those matches have been teased for a very, very long time, and it hasn't happened. And because of that, I think money talks. And if money talks, nobody's going to walk away from it. So, ladies and gentlemen, tons of big stuff. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below.